Come to us. No appointment, no problem at the Warner Hospital Walk-in Clinic. Get here and get feeling better. Just another way we provide quality care close to home.
Attention area school superintendents, factory managers, and governmental bodies. DeWittDailyNews.com and the Miller Media Group are making it easier for you to notify our readers and listeners about your school closings, cancellations, and notifications. Click on the event delay enrollment icon on our DeWitt Daily News blue menu bar. Find your entity, put your email address in along with a secret password only you will know, and hit submit. Go there to submit your closing or cancellation anytime, 24/7. It's that easy. Sign up now by clicking the event delay enrollment icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHW Morning Show is streaming to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Clinton School Superintendent Curt Nettles joins us in studio. We're going to have you in on a Friday.
Is it Friday?
It's Friday. I could not... I mentioned before I'm a bit under the weather.
Yeah.
I could not figure out what day it was this morning. I was like, wait, yesterday? Was yesterday Thursday? No, it was Wednesday.
Holidays got everybody messed up because we had, a lot of people worked Monday and Tuesday and didn't do anything for several days.
That's true. Yeah.
You forget what day it is.
It is, yeah. So I don't know. I was like, this morning, I'm like, what day is it? I was pretty sure it was Friday, but I just wasn't sure. Let's talk about school board meeting, Mr. Nettles. Neither you or I were there, so let's go over probably things that you had prepared for the board. Let's talk about basketball court naming discussion. What's going on here?
Yeah, so it was brought up too. I think it's been brought up times before, and probably even before I started working here back in 2015, but it's been brought up a few times. A lot of people in town know that we had a gentleman go through here named Gene Vance, who just basically set the world on fire with basketball, wound up at U of I, and did a lot of great things in his life. And so the board, after some discussion and consideration of things, has decided that they would like to move forward with naming our court after Gene. So we haven't definitively decided every little detail about that yet, but we're going to move forward with that. And at some point, we'll have a ceremony and an unveiling of that. So
is Gene still with us?
No.
And
so, but his family would be involved. His wife lives in Champaign, and he's got kids and other family kind of spread out some different states. So we would obviously get them involved and kind of make a big show of this because it's kind of a big deal. But we have to, we don't redo the gym floor every year. We every once in a while, you kind of have to do a total redo of the surface, and we'll probably do a little more artwork and things like that. And that would be a good time this summer to get his name on there and then unveil.
You should do like the Bulls where you've got the flying C's inside the 3-point line and stuff like that.
So a lot of your listeners and our community members are familiar with a young man named Matt Keppel.
Mm-hmm.
And we joke sometimes that, Matt must have had a vision. So Matt gets visions. So we'll probably work from Matt's visions about what things are. And
make him sound like he's a little crazy.
Matt is not crazy. Matt is Matt. So
very good. Well, I look forward to whatever the design may hold. I love a good basketball court design. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you want to have something. I mean, there are some courts out there that I've seen on TV in college basketball, and I'm like, I don't know that I could play on that. It's too distracting, but
1990s NBA basketball courts were where it's at.
Okay.
That's where it's at. So, all right. Well, Mr. Nettles, as we talk about the school board meeting, so any idea like when that will be, or like, have you thought about that to this point?
I've thought about it a little bit, but right now in my mind, it might be after next summer, maybe the next basketball season, but I think that remains for some discussion.
Gotcha. Yeah. So maybe this time next year will be.
Oh, for sure.
Finishing that up. Very good. Let's talk a little bit about sports officials' pay. What's going on here?
So we try to keep a check on those things. I mean, what we're paying substitute teachers, what we're paying officials for sports and things like that. And so we want to stay competitive. We don't always seek to be number one out there, but this day and age, when you pay for substitutes or referees or umpires, you got to stay up close to that top because for some reason people think there's a quality issue in officiating. So if there is a tier 1 and a tier 2 and maybe even a tier 3 of officiating, we want those tier 1 officials.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying some people think that. And so if we want to keep the tier 1 officials coming, we need to be making sure we're very competitive with that. So, and we did this kind of right in the middle of things here. So Matt did the aforementioned Matt Keppel did some research on what's being paid out there. So we did make some adjustments here in November, and this takes place immediately on who's getting paid what. So we bumped those up so that we can make sure we're still getting the tier 1 officials to come.
Very good. Yeah. And, officiating shortage is right there with, teacher shortage, substitute shortage, all those shortages.
Railroad shortage.
You had to go there, didn't you?
Yeah. Everything is affected in the state of Illinois and in the country, it seems. So we have to make adjustments.
All right. Very good. What are you going to pay officials, if you don't mind me asking?
So I have a whole sheet here. But let's just say we're in basketball season right now. So varsity girls and boys. So for girls basketball, people may notice we have 3 referees who do the JV game and the varsity game. So they'll make $130 for doing that. Now, varsity boys basketball, those guys only do 1 because we have different officials for the JV game. I'm not sure why that is, but so for doing a varsity boys basketball, they'll get $80.
All right.
To do that, which is not a ton of money, but it's pretty good for that.
For an hour and a half of work, that's not bad.
Yeah. And to get heckled too. That's priceless.
Well,
right there.
You can't put a price tag on that.
But we're gonna pay looking for baseball here or softball. So to do a varsity baseball game would be $75. Softball would probably be 130 because they'll wind up doing 2 games. And if we do some extra innings, for JV or whatever, they'll get a little extra for that too. Junior high baseball.
What about football?
Varsity football will be $80 a night.
All right.
So
how does that compare with the area?
We were at 75. We only bumped it up $5. So that compares pretty close to the top around the area because everything we proposed and the board approved was either at the top or very close to it.
All right. Easy enough. Let's get into the kind of meat and potatoes of the meeting. Again, Clinton School Superintendent Curt Nettles in studio with us here for today. Talk to me a little bit about the kitchen project. I know that this has been kind of on the radar for some time. What's the latest?
Yeah, it was on the radar a long time ago before me and before this current board. So, and it had to get put on hold. So we've got the ball rolling on that. And we did go ahead and approve, as some people might remember, we went out to bid for this project thinking we might spend $1 million or just a little over $1 million. And we had 1 bidder, and that bid came in at very close to $2 million. And so we said time out, and I was going to advise the board to reject that bid and start over. Our architect, which we're able to do in a situation where you have 1 bidder, is to work with that bidder and do some value engineering and see if we can't discount some things and whittle back on some things and make some changes. And so I told the architects, I said, if you get this down to 1.5, I'll move forward with the board and hopefully get it done. We did get it down to 1.7. It became abundantly clear that's the floor that we could really get this accomplished. And what we're finding out through our architects who do a lot of business even up north is very few bidders on jobs, and the bids are coming in way higher than
because they don't need the work. Yeah.
It's all kinds of things. Everything costs a lot more in this economy we're in. Plus everybody's working like crazy now. And so they're not hungry for every job. So we're going to get it going, and we've already started a few things, but we'll start really in earnest this summer. The contractor's getting everything in place, starting to get things staged for that. So when we serve the last tater tot in May and the kids leave the lunchroom.
Are you still allowed to serve tater tots?
Why not?
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of rules and regulations on what you can serve and not serve, but there's still some of the good old things we can serve. So
how does this and I don't know, maybe this will segue us to the next talking point, but how much over you're going to be impact the rest of your facilities plans and discussion?
Not at all. This is a different scenario. Folks might remember that we started this really getting back into the kitchen thing because we needed to get it done, number one. And number two, we got that big influx of federal money. And so we're going to use a good portion of the federal money that we've received to make this happen. So this is not going to curtail the facilities plan overall, and we'll be able to afford it.
Have they just kind of peeled back all the layers you have to go through to use that funding from COVID?
So the federal money that we all got because of the pandemic, there are stipulations and regulations on that for sure. And so you have to fill out a grant, and it's an acronym, ESSER, ESSER. So there's an ESSER 1, an ESSER 2, and an ESSER 3. And so we're on ESSER 3 at this point, and we have until, I think, the fall of 24 to spend all of it. So Drew Goebel has written all of those grants and put everything in detail, and the state has approved it. So
he's kind of a master grant writer, isn't he?
You know, he came into the job 5 years ago, and he has
5 years.
Yeah, this is his 5th year.
Oh my!
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Holy cow!
Yeah. So he came into it, and he jumped in with both feet, and has learned an awful lot, and he can really run with that stuff. And by the way, thanks to him for helping run the board meeting that I had to miss, unfortunately. So
feeling better?
I feel way better.
Good.
Way better. I've never missed a board meeting in 16 years.
That was very out of character for you. Yeah.
Well, the room was moving, and I could not sit up straight.
I see. Well, glad you're better. Did you have a good Thanksgiving, by the way?
We had a great Thanksgiving.
Everybody home, and
my kids, my grandkids.
Wonderful.
All of it. Yeah.
Great. Quickly, let's just touch on the facilities plan and update there. What's going on?
So we're moving forward with things. We got a big list of things that we all think need to be done, things that we want to do, and things that we would call a dream or pie in the sky or whatever. So that's 3 categories: a need, a want, and the dream stuff. And so when we created that list and made sure we had everything we needed on there with input from administration and board members and all that, then we began to prioritize. We're working on finishing the prioritization of those things. So next steps would be then to agree on what that list is and start moving forward with it. But one thing that Mr. Goebel and I are doing behind the scenes then is to securing how we will pay for things. And again, everybody needs to remember when these facility plans come out, this is not going to be done overnight. This is going to take multiple years to get everything done. I will be gone as you move into a lot of the big things that are done, since I'll be retiring after next year.
What?
Yes. I told you that.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
I would remember that. You
Really?
did not tell me that.
Sorry.
Wow.
So a lot of this is going to outlive me or outgo me, but it's going to take a while. It's probably going to take 5 years to get done everything on this list that I would like to get done. And it's a lot of things. It's labs in the schools. It's the condition of some floors, or various things like that really need to be done, and some things we want to do, which I think we'll be able to accomplish most of those. And then there's those things like, we've all talked about, those that are very interested have all talked about redo the football complex and the track and all that kind of stuff. And we're making a plan to do that. We absolutely are making a plan to do that, to make that look great, to make it a facility that can host any kind of event we want it to be, a track tournament, a band tournament, concert, whatever, and football games, obviously. So we want it to look great.
What's of the highest priority?
To me, of the highest priority is make sure that our systems are functioning correctly. The HVAC things, brick and mortar kinds of things, so that we're airtight, we're safe, we're clean, and all those kinds of things. And then we have classroom environments like high school labs, those kinds of things need to be done. Our family and consumer science lab looks like your grandma's kitchen from the early 70s. And no offense to anybody out there, but we need to update those things to the way we want to teach and accomplish things these days. So lots of things like that within the district. Of course, CES is almost still a brand new building. There's not a ton of things to do there, but there are things to get done in some of the other buildings.
Easy enough. Let's take a break here, Mr. Nettles. Come back with more. Curt Nettles, Superintendent of Clinton Schools, my guest in studio. More to come on the morning show.
WHOW.
Connected.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn lower, beans higher, wheat trading double-digit lower today. December corn 637.5 down 12.5. March corn down 11 1/4, 649 1/4. May corn 649 down 10 1/4. January beans up 6 3/4, 1436.5. March beans up 7 1/4, 1444. May beans 1451.5 up 7. December wheat down 19.5 at this hour, 739 1/4. March wheat 756.5 down 26.5. December bean meal 419.20 down $1.70. December bean oil 68.55 up 15 cents. Livestock market January feeders 181.90 up 82 cents. December live cattle 153.30 up 1/4. December lean hogs $83 even, down 12 cents. Energy market, January crude oil up 21 cents, 81.43. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace now offers free assembly and free delivery, so it's never been easier to get a great grill for your family, like a Weber gas grill, a Traeger wood pellet grill, or a Big Green Egg charcoal grill. Only at your neighborhood Ace. Around the block. What you need in stock, with people who know their grills.
This is Brad from Gibson Ace Hardware in Clinton, Illinois. Stop in to see us, the helpful place at 114 North Madison Street, Clinton.
See participating store for details.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Once again, and good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Curt Nettles, Superintendent of Clinton Schools, my guest in studio. Mr. Nettles, about a month and a half ago, school report card data came out of highlight on the Clinton school report card from your perspective.
Well, our schools are mostly commendable rated. We do have a couple of findings that we're going to work on. IEP students' test scores need to be brought up. Everybody's test scores need to be brought up. We have you have subgroups, and subgroup is 25 or more kids in a certain group. So it could be IEP students, it could be low-income students, or race, or anything like that. So the state looks at your subgroups. So we're working on IEP students at the junior high to get their test scores brought up. And then we are looking at a low-income subgroup moving forward that has to be brought up too. But that's nothing new. That's nothing shocking. That's the stuff that we all know in the school system that we need to be doing. So we look at that and we understand what lies ahead of us and what we need to do to move forward with that. So we're doing that. But there's good things, and I don't have it in front of me, so I don't know. I don't want to quote numbers off the top of my head, but our graduation rate is where it needs to be as far as the state is concerned. Working on a number of other areas that we want to keep in a commendable spot or even get better at. But it's just it's a complicated, convoluted system that they use, and it takes a while for principals to study and learn it, and superintendents as well. And so the thing that bothers me is the state measures a school district and individual schools in a number of ways. You have graduation rate, attendance, and things like that. But the test scores, I don't really get too caught up in that. I don't think other people should too, because you're really measuring the success of kids over a couple of days on a test.
Right.
So
one thing I am hearing a lot of from your peers is attendance, issues with attendance, getting kids back after the pandemic.
Right.
What do you see in there?
So we had, there's different definitions for things. You have truancy, and then you have chronic truance, and then you have you have absenteeism, which can be for anything. I don't want to come to school, or I'm sick and can't come to school. Then there's a definition for chronic absenteeism, and that's kids who have missed a certain percentage of the school year. So many schools are battling the chronic absenteeism category. And it's because we're coming off of 2 years in which it was very easy for kids not to attend. And it started with closing everything down in March of 2020 and not coming back at all. And then when we came back in the fall of 20,
it was optional.
They could choose remote learning. And we had 20 to 25% of our student body at one point in time choosing remote learning. And then it became not optional, for the year after that. But getting them to come back is difficult. So I find it a little disconcerting that the state of Illinois and ISBE is dinging school district over absenteeism, when in fact they made it very easy for everyone to stay home. And it's hard to bring people back out of that, because what did companies find out?
It's hard to bring.
You can stay home and work. Well, kids can stay home and do school.
Well said, Mr. Nettles. We'll let you go for the day. Clinton School Superintendent Curt Nettles on the phone or in studio with us.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM.